Hi, this is Michael Orrell from MobileBurn.com, and I'm going to show you a few more things about the Amazon Kindle Fire. I'm going to compare it with the BlackBerry PlayBook, Samsung's Galaxy Tab 7.0 Plus, and even do a side-by-side browser comparison with the iPad 2. So I want to show you the email application. I'm going to move down here into my favorites and load it up. It's a bit of a weak point, even though it supports multiple accounts and it can pull in contacts from Gmail accounts. It still has a couple of weaknesses here. You can see new messages are shown in bolded colors here. There's no way to individually and easily mark a message as unread, but you do have the option to swipe over and select a message or two, or just one, and then mark it unread or read, just back and forth here at the toggle. You can also do it from inside the message. Like so, and come back. One of the problems though is when you go into the unified inbox, there's no way to tell which account a message is coming from. There's no color coding like you would see in the normal Android email client. That can be a bit confusing. If you have 2 email boxes, maybe it's not so hard. If you have 10, it's probably going to be a bit of a mess. Just so you can see, we can create a new message here. Going to type, and you're going to see it's automatically going to populate. I'm going to look for Jack Black here. Here's a test message. And I can just send that off. Go back to this view and we can add a new account, and you can see what type of accounts are supported. When we go into Other, you can type just something made up. You can see we got support for POP3 and IMAP, but no integrated Exchange support. If you want Exchange support though, I'm quite fond of the Touchdown client. This is what I use on Android smartphones. This version has a nice Kindle and tablet based look to it, and it supports multi-pane viewing. So let me flip this around. You can see right here I can see the message, and then if I go into landscape mode, you still have the nice split screen view. Also support for contacts and calendar and everything else. Another email option is Chitin Mail. It's by the developer of K9 Mail. Also supports multiple accounts and has a paned interface. If I can get it to work. I find this to be a nice email client as well. This one costs $5. The Touchdown Exchange client costs $10. Take a look at the Contacts application. This is a little bit odd in how it works. You can see there's tabs here, but you can't just run your finger down it to select a letter. Instead, that scrolls the tab and then you have to tap individually on one. I find that to be a little bit odd. And I'll pull up one of the test contacts. I also should mention that contact photos are not coming in from the Gmail account, although they are coming in from my Exchange account with Touchdown. I want to show you a bit of a problem you have with some games due to the fact that there's no dedicated home or back buttons here. You have this little control down at the bottom that pops up the controls here. It causes a bit of a problem. I'm going to start a new game. Now notice the speech dialogues at the bottom of the screen, they're going to get cut off because of this little bar down at the bottom. and there's nothing you can really do to get around it. So while there's probably not going to be too much content at the very bottom of the screen in these games, it's possible, quite conceivable, that you could run into some problems with it. There's a couple pre-installed applications. We've got IMDb for movie and television information. Facebook client's also pre-installed. No Twitter client pre-installed though. Audible for audiobooks. The Pulse newsfeed reader, and the regular version of Quick Office is installed. I purchased the Quick Office Pro version that you see right here. Here's the gallery. Not too much to see here though without cameras. Here's the Amazon Store application. Quite easy to navigate. Also want to show you the copy of Wired magazine I picked up. Had to buy the Wired magazine application through the newsstand section of the device. Then I had to go through and subscribe from within that application, and eventually after downloading 261 megabytes of content I got to this point. And here's the front cover of the magazine. Tap on a page to get some controls. It's lagging a bit here. You can see having some real problems with it. I can use this as a table of contents to move to a particular article. It's quite a nice looking application once it's loaded. There's a lot of graphical content in here, just like you would find on the magazine, so as you might expect, it's a little bit slow at times. You can also use this slider to basically thumb your way through the pages, and can just tap to go from page to page. The index is definitely slow. And here's a somewhat easier view for paging through. Overall, pretty good experience. And I'm quite fond of some of the interactive aspects of it. You don't see this in a magazine. Also want to revisit the music application. You see I've added another album here. Right now I'm on the Cloud tab, so these are both in my account online. And you'll see that only the Unforgettable Fire album is available on my device directly. I can quickly change that though by long pressing on the album and say download it. And now it's automatically been added to the download queue and will show up once it's downloaded right here. Likewise, I can take this and free up some space and remove it from the device. You can see the Lady Gaga album's now there, and Unforgettable Fire's gone. And even though it's not on the device, you can still quite easily play it. Also want to show you that you can indeed email documents to your device. I created a PDF on my phone with a couple of pictures and emailed it to the address seen up here at the top of the screen. All I have to do is tap on it and it'll load it up in the e-reader application. It's a photo of a People magazine cover and one of the pages. The quality is due to me shooting it at night with a phone, but you can see it still works. No multi-touch zooming though. Also, I should point out that in spite of the fact that you guys can all see that address up there, only authorized email addresses can send documents, so you can't just blindly send documents out to somebody else's device just by guessing their email address. And you can, of course, change that email address. Now here we have three tablets side by side. There's the BlackBerry PlayBook. Here's Amazon's Kindle Fire. And then, of course, we have the Samsung Galaxy Tab 7.0 Plus. All three of them are 7-inch tablets. They have 1024 by 600 pixel displays. Amazon's running their own Silk browser here, which is WebKit based. like the other two, but entirely different in terms of how it's implemented. This is the standard Honeycomb 3.2 browser, somewhat similar to Google's Chrome. And then this is the WebKit-based browser offered by the PlayBook OS. Do some quick double tap zooming so you can see how they compare. By far the Android browser in Honeycomb is faster when it comes to the zooming, at least in terms of the actual speed of the graphics. Do some scrolling. And you can see that the Silk browser is much more free scrolling. It doesn't have the dampening effect that the other two have, which probably makes it a little bit harder to control. Also notice that the Amazon Silk browser is missing the ads, and this could be a function of Amazon pulling in everything from their server and trying to optimize it for a mobile. You can see we're missing the rectangular ads above the embedded videos, and then also missing the ad at the top of the screen here. So here's the PlayBook, the Kindle Fire, and the Galaxy Tab 7.0 Plus side by side, but face down this time. You can see the PlayBook and the Kindle Fire both sport a soft touch rear paint. Very simple designs. They share a lot in terms of design, although the PlayBook is a couple millimeters wider and longer. It does have a camera though, and volume controls and things like that the Kindle Fire just totally lacks. Both devices are lacking compared to the Tab 7.0 Plus's design though, which is nicely tapered, thinner, and has just a much more pretty looking design and choice of materials. Going to attempt to show you some side-by-side comparisons here. I'm going to pull up the page on each browser. We've got the Galaxy Tab over here and the Kindle Fire over here. Both devices are on the same Wi-Fi network, so they're sharing the same network bandwidth. You can see in this particular case the Galaxy Tab loaded quite a bit slower than the Kindle Fire. That probably has something to do with the fact that the Kindle Fire is not loading any of the ads though. Kind of makes it an unfair comparison. We'll run another comparison here. And again, the Kindle Fire is out of the gates much faster. I'm going to now load a new site, CNN.com, on both devices. And once again, the Kindle Fire is loading the page well before the Honeycomb browser even starts. Unlike what we saw on the Mobile Burn site though, you can see that the ads were loaded on both devices, making this a much more fair comparison. Let's try to load another page on CNN, compare. We have the entire page loaded on the Kindle Fire, and the Honeycomb 3.2 browser on the Galaxy Tab 7.0 Plus still hasn't really started rendering the page at all. And finally the page is done loading. And once again we'll do another comparison with a news site. So we'll be loading MSNBC this time. While the Honeycomb browser got a good start, it still managed to be slower in the end than the Kindle Fire, even though it was loading only the mobile version of the website, where whereas the Kindle Fire was loading the full desktop version. So it seems that Amazon's claims that their back-end services are speeding up browsing is definitely true. What many people really want to know, though, is how it compares to Apple's iPad 2. So we're going to reload the CNN.com website and see how they compare. In this case, you can see the iPad 2 is much faster than the Kindle Fire. So while the Kindle Fire and its Silk browser might claim to be the fastest Android browser around, it is certainly not the fastest tablet browser around. And for another test, we're going to load the foxnews.com site on both devices. Neither device has been to that page yet, so there's no caching involved. And again, blazing fast performance on the iPad 2. It just beats all others quite handily. And just to make the point once more, we're going to reload both pages with flash disabled on the Kindle Fire. While that definitely improves the Kindle Fire's response, the iPad 2 still beats it quite easily. I'm going to load another page that they haven't been to. And the iPad 2 is almost finished loading before the Kindle Fire even starts rendering it. I want to show you another neat trick on the browser. What I'm going to do is I'm going to reload the page, and we're going to see it block a pop-up. You can see right there, you can deny it or allow it or change the settings. I'm going to deny it, and then it will just reload the page as we would hope for. So that's my look at some of the features of the Amazon Kindle Fire, an Android-powered 7-inch tablet device. For MobileBurn.com, I'm Michael Orrell. Thanks for watching.